What is going on, everyone? It is Mark here with another video, and today we're going to talk some more about the iPhone SE second generation. So last week I took it out of the box, I put it in my SIM card, and I've had some time to actually explore, use this on a day-to-day, see the pros, the cons, the excitements, the disappointments, all of the above. And we're going to talk about that today. So of course, the iPhone SE is the second generation of this special edition, unofficial name of this device. It is a fairly exciting-ish device. Let me explain the ish. So real quick, iPhone SE recap, $399 American gets you started. Glass back, very familiar iPhone 8 looking device. Looks essentially identical other than the whole Apple logo. You've got the fingerprint sensor in the front, you've got the big forehead, the big chin, you've got the 720 display, you've got one camera in the back, A13 Bionic chip, don't remember if I said that or not, but with that chip there, you get a lot of little perks with your single camera, with all that fun stuff. Anyways, what are my thoughts, feelings, emotions? Let's talk about that. So I went into the week of testing this device kind of with mid-level expectations, a little bit higher than typical, just because it is the A13 Bionic chip, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised. So the reason I say that, this is the iPhone that is kind of designated for that mid-range, the perfect price point in my opinion for a smartphone, for that kind of mass population iPhone. So you get a lot of bang for your buck with this device. Like I said earlier, it is $399 American, $599 Canadian. And you will not be disappointed. No, you don't have Face ID. No, you don't have the OLED display. No, you don't have the fancy 3-camera setup. But what you do get works very, very well. So over the past week, I've tried to push the limits of this device with my workflow, with photos, with videos, with a whole bunch of array of things, kind of comparing it to my iPhone 11 in terms of kind of like battery life and display and how I actually interact with the device. And it passed with very, very colorful flying colors. So the biggest thing that I noticed while using this and kind of really surprised me is how well and how smooth everything kind of worked. I was expecting a few hiccups here and there in terms of the new device, in terms of that it is a little bit more on the budget friendly side of Apple's lineup, but this thing, everything I threw at it is sliced like butter. Absolutely everything. We got a lot of apps open, we got emails, we got photos, we got FaceTime, we've got literally my entire workflow. I spent a lot of time in the office on this device, on field with this device, and everything I threw at it, unbelievable. File sharing, AirDrop, everything was literally going on here, and everything went so smoothly. No, of course, you didn't have a huge OLED display, but you don't necessarily always need that. That sometimes, this size factor of phone sometimes does get in the way. This is a very familiar feeling device. This is a very kind of comfortable feeling. It's very light in the hand. This size of footprint, like honestly, between you and I, if they came out with an iPhone 11 with the full OLED, with the whole 3-camera shebang in this size factor, I know it obviously had to be a little bit thicker, but in this size factor, that would be perfect for me. I don't have the world's biggest hands. Even the iPhone 11 here, sometimes when I'm using it with one hand, I have to readjust, wiggle my hand around, something I'm completely used to by now. But if it came in this size factor, buenos noches, iPhone 11, like I would jump ship. Anyways, so I'm very happy with the size factor. It was comfortable in the pocket. It didn't feel too bulgy because it's like literally paper thin. Everything worked great. One of the concerns I did have, if you recall from the last video, is that the display was not the brightest. I would not be able to see it in full daylight. Even standing here right now, I could make that same observation. But in the real world, this display was perfectly fine. There was no issues. I was always able to see it without kind of like squinting or anything like that, without doing the whole covering the sunlight. I was able to see it every single time I used it. From dark to light, it was on, it was bright enough, it did the job just fine. Battery life lasted literally all day. I work 10-hour days and I don't charge throughout that period. I also travel to and from work an hour before, an hour after. That's 12 hours, and I'm essentially steady either on the phone, checking my emails, doing something on this device steady. And I came home, slapped it on the wireless charger, and I still had 13, 15, 16% left of like steady usage. From I get up at 5, this comes off the charger, check my emails, I get to work, I do my shebang, and I'm back home and getting into bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I still had 12, 13%. When they say all day battery, they definitely mean it. So you guys are probably sitting there being like, okay, Mark, so everything you've said about this phone is positive. There has to be something wrong with it. My very quick answer is there essentially isn't anything wrong with it given the restraints it is in. There are of course things that this does not do as well as the iPhone 11, their flagship device, but if they did, then there'd be no point for the iPhone 11 if your $399 did the exact same thing. But of course, no phone is perfect, so I'm gonna go through my laundry list of being extremely picky and letting you guys know what I found to be a little slight inconveniences and things that I would like different if I were designing this phone. So first thing, fingerprints. This is called a fingerprint magnet. The iPhone 11, it has that flat glass looking material that does a lot better of a job protecting the device from fingerprints. Like this looks filthy to me. Like yeah, there's just fingerprints literally everywhere. Another thing that I kept finding myself doing is double tapping on the screen, but this doesn't have a double tap to wake up the screen. You have to actually touch the home button, but I got used to that. There was a few days where I was just smacking the phone repeatedly after I realized it didn't do the things that I wanted it to do. I adjusted and I tapped the home button, so not a big deal. And of course, the fact that the screen size is a little bit too small. I am used to the iPhone 11, definitely not the 11 Max, but the screen size difference is quite significant, and that is something that I was lacking. In terms of the camera, of course, this has 3 cameras that do a lot of things together and make photos very, very pretty, but this by far did not disappoint. I'll put a few pictures here of taken by the iPhone SE 2nd generation, and what you can tell is it's a very nice photo. So the A13 Bionic chip does a fantastic job doing what it does best in terms of photo and gathering information and processing it. It does a great job with the colors, with the exposure, with portrait mode. All those things are very well maintained and kept up to date with the A13. Like it's a 1-camera setup here, and it does really, really well. So moral of the story is, Mark, do you like the iPhone SE? Do you think it's a valid option? Who do you think this device is for? Yes, I enjoy it. Who is it for? I think this is going to be not only for that market of budget-ish. It's still $399 American dollars. That's a lot of money, but it's definitely not going to be a flagship. So it's going to be that perfect mid-range smartphone, and I see a lot of like corporations going towards something like this. This is the A13 Bionic chip, so you're definitely not gonna have to keep switching phones out regarding kind of its capability. It is all glass back, so they'll probably slap a case on it, but this is like the perfect corporate phone. Not too big, not too small, not too fancy, but still looks professional enough, does exactly what you want it to do. If I owned a company that had to hire people and give them devices, I would probably lean towards this. Anyways, I hope you liked that video. If you did, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button down below. And if you have any feedback, comments, rebuttals, opinions, please feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section below. And of course, if you want some extra brownie points, please follow me on all my social media. Links can be found down in the description. And again, a shameless plug, twitch.tv/MarkStapf. That is my name. Go follow me. We play some video games. It's a good time. I enjoy it. People enjoy it, or at least they pretend like they enjoy it. And we can all be a happy family playing some video games. Anyways, I hope you liked that video. See you on the next one.